Take a look at this chart. It's really interesting. This is showing the Browns' backfield, the three main guys, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Dearness Johnson. Cumulative yards rushing over expected. And two of them, Chubb and Dearness Johnson, significantly almost a half yard each over what is expected per carry. Kareem Hunt is below. But when you look at that, Dearness Johnson is the purple, so he has the highest, and then you see Chubb kind of goes up and really took off later in the year. Jack, when you look at that, take us through, and you tweeted that out, so that's why you mentioned, follow Jack on Twitter. You'll find some interesting stuff as well, Jack Duffin on Twitter. Take us through what that tells you, and how impressive it is that you have two of the highest guys.
Yeah, so it tells us that in terms of for every rushing attempt that a player's had, how much more than what you would expect. Because, hey, if it's a really badly blocked play, you can't sort of fault a running back for getting caught in the backfield, because that's probably not their fault. If someone's missed their block or something like that, then it's harsh to mark them down and use that pure like, oh, he got 7 yards per carry, he's doing great, or he's got this, he's doing badly. And as well, if you're going for a goal line run where there's only 1 yard to go, you don't want to credit a player down because, well, he only rushed 1 yard, well, he got a touchdown. So it's looking at this core data and going, hey, did he achieve more than what you'd expect? And we see two running backs that were phenomenal, and that is Chubb and Dearness Johnson. And then looking at the last 2 years, we see one that's actually underperforming, and that's Kareem Hunt. And I was surprised looking at these numbers. I expected it to almost be all three up there. So it's a really important thing to look when you're thinking about the future. And we need to remember with Kareem Hunt, he's coming off missing 9 games last year. 26 is start of the age curve where we tend to see a decline in several running backs. Very different from other positions on the roster. It happens a lot earlier, just because of the physical pounding you take at the position. So it's certainly one to keep an eye on moving forward. Will he probably play 17 games this season? Unlikely. And that's purely because just looking at a player that's out for 9 games 1 year is very unlikely to play all season the next. So these things factor into, there's going to be an interesting discussion, and everything's pointing to Kareem Hunt making the roster, but it's not a zero chance. And Browns fans need to be aware of that. We're talking about $6.25 million for Kareem Hunt. And based on those numbers that we've just seen, Dearness Johnson is comfortably outperforming him and going to cost $1.265 million. And that's a decision that might well be faced by this front office, because both are free agents in a year's time.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is they drafted Jerome Ford, a guy by all accounts that is talented and has some of the same skill sets as Kareem Hunt.